Hello and welcome everyone to the final Daily 8 at noon on the News 8 Live Desk. Phil Penarski here once again with the top 8 stories of the day. It is a bit of a sad day for us, but it's not all bad. Remember, you can still watch the entire Daily 8 every single weekday over on Wood TV Plus starting at 2 p.m. You'll get daily check-ins with Storm Team 8, exclusive interviews from the community, and of course, those same top headlines each and every single day. And speaking of those headlines, let's get right into today's final edition of the Noon Daily 8 and begin with an update to a story that we brought you last month. The Mid-Michigan couple who spent almost a month behind bars at a maximum security prison in Mexico is back home stateside now. Paul and Christy Acayo landed in Lansing around midnight today, according to our sister station WLNS. They had a crew actually at the airport who captured the reunion between the Acayos and the rest of their family. The couple was allowed to return home after a court hearing yesterday where the court ruled that they were to be released from custody. The two of them were no longer facing charges, and the case against them has been dropped. That is according to reporting from WLNS. The Acayos were arrested back on March 4th at an airport in Cancun on fraud allegations. They were accused of defrauding the resort chain that they were staying at for more than $116,000. Representative Tom Barrett, after hearing the story, visited the Acayos in prison to help get them out. He added that the Mexican government and President Donald Trump were involved in the conversations to free the Acayos. The Acayos said that they are just happy to have this entire ordeal behind them now. Today marks 3 years since Patrick Lyoya was killed by a former Grand Rapids police officer in southeast Grand Rapids. A memorial with flowers, stuffed animals, and messages remains at the scene where Lyoya died. Christopher Scher shot and killed Lyoya after a traffic stop back in 2022. Now the murder trial for the former GRPD officer is set to begin later this month. Scher was charged with second-degree murder and was then fired by the department. Policy changes regarding the use of force and de-escalation at the department were implemented following the shooting. A judge ruled to send the case to trial back in late 2022, and Scher's lawyers have tried to appeal the decision ever since. The Michigan Supreme Court denied that final appeal in December. Jury selection for the trial is slated for April 21st, and the trial is set to begin on April 28th, although those dates could change. A civil lawsuit has also been filed against Scher. Several West Michigan agencies and firefighters are heading up north now this week, not for spring break, but rather to help communities reeling after a devastating ice storm over the weekend. As of Thursday, thousands in the Lower Peninsula remained without power, heat, or fuel. These areas include Grayling, Mackinac City, Petoskey, and Rogers City. The Salvation Army has served more than 3,000 meals and distributed thousands of other food items since the storm hit. This was coordinated by the Grand Rapids Center due to the northern locations also being caught up in the storm. 2 Grand Rapids firefighters have also decided to head up there and help out in any way that they can. Governor Gretchen Whitmer also declared a state of emergency due to the weather earlier this week. If you would also like to help with the recovery and cleanup efforts, we have ways for you to do just that right now over on our website, woodtv.com. And sticking on the weather train now, West Michigan also saw quite a bit of active weather on Sunday. After surveying from the National Weather Service, a total of 10 tornadoes swirled up over the weekend across the lower part of the state. That is the most that the state of Michigan has seen in a single day in over 2 decades. Back in October of 2001, a total of 11 tornadoes were confirmed. That was the most prior to Sunday. The most the state has ever seen in a single day has also came in 2001. May 21st saw 21 total tornadoes all across the West Michigan area, most of them all across the West Michigan area. All of Sunday's tornadoes were either EF0s or EF1s, but still caused some significant damage, including a barn being completely flattened in Gaines Township and the roof of a Fruitport Elementary School being stripped away. More severe weather was expected for Wednesday, but thankfully stayed mostly to the south of us here in Michigan. It's baseball season once again here in West Michigan as the Whitecaps get set for their season opener tonight against the Dayton Dragons. The team is set for a big season as some of the Tigers' top prospects are suiting up for the Whitecaps, at least to start the season, on top of the fun that you'll see on the field. There's also a lot to check out all over LMCU Ballpark. The stadium is in the middle of a multi-year modernization project, and those completed phases are ready for fans to check out. The field, bullpens, and safety netting are all new this year, along with 2 new terraces on either side of the park. The Game Time Fun Park also opened this week, so something to check out before the first pitch and have some pre-game fun. Gates for the game open at 5:15 with the start time slated for 6:35 tonight. The first 1,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Whitecaps campfire mug, and there will also be a fireworks show to check out to cap off the night. Also making its return today is the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, which has been closed for more than 3 weeks now. A fire forced the museum to close back on March 13th. It was a small fire, but the sprinkler system in the building ultimately damaged some of the exhibits in the process of putting out the flames. A restoration crew has been working around the clock since then to get everything ready for today's reopening. We had a news crew out there earlier today to capture the first guests being welcomed back. Today also kicks off the museum's Spring Break Bonanza, which provides 10 straight days of fun, hands-on activities, and so much more for kids of all ages and their parents. We have the full itinerary of the Bonanza, which you can find right now inside this week's weekend planner, and also check out some of the more fun things that you can see once you return. Now let's send it over to Storm Teammate meteorologist Matt Kirkwood for a look at your forecast for today.
Okay, we'll begin today with some sunshine thanks to high pressure, but if you notice off to the west, there's clouds moving through Ohio, actually Iowa, and also in the Missouri area, and they're going to stream right in and kind of, well, take over. And eventually you'll have a chance of a light shower, especially from Grand Rapids to the south. Most of us will avoid that, but then tonight a greater threat, and that's going to linger in through early Saturday. So showers will eventually move out Saturday. The remainder of the day is going to be dry, and that's going to carry over into Sunday also. Boy, it's going to be a cold start to next week with some looks like some snow in the mix and much colder air. Here's that 8-day forecast featuring again mostly a dry weekend. We'll have the chance of showers early on and then drying out, a little bit cooler on Sunday and much colder on Monday and Tuesday, and that is going to include a chance of snow. I wouldn't be surprised some locations at least picks up some snow on the grassy surfaces, especially north of Grand Rapids, and a few leftover lakeshore flurries on Tuesday, warming up tail end of the 8-day forecast.
All right, thanks, Matt. We end things today with the newest exhibit at the Grand Rapids Public Museum, which is perfect for a day like today. The Detroit Tigers have their home opener today after spending the first week of the season on the road, and to celebrate, the museum has unveiled a new history exhibit of the team built around the world's largest collection of autographed Tigers baseballs. Nearly 1,200 baseballs are now on display and are broken up by years to help tell the story of the history of the team through these signatures on each baseball. The collection came from a fan who spent more than 30 years at games, camps, signing shows, auctions, and they even contacted former players directly to get their John Hancocks on some of these baseballs. The exhibit is open now and is located on the second floor of the museum. It's a permanent exhibit, so you will have at least the next 5 years to check it out. It is also free to see with regular museum admission. And that's going to do it for us today on the Daily 8 at noon. Remember, we will be moving exclusively to Wood TV Plus starting on Monday, so we hope to see you all tuned in at 2 p.m. Wood TV Plus is free to download right now on all Roku, Apple, and Fire TV devices. I do want to thank everybody so much for tuning into this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day and an even better weekend.